Hey, Tony, thanks for agreeing to meet. I just want to do a post-program follow-up. What did you think of the program?
The program was excellent. It was, I think, the right amount of time in terms of the 4 sessions and approximately, the hour or more like an hour and a half per session, I would say on average. I think the structure was really good. Really what you presented to us was a real comprehensive way of getting into the trading of cryptocurrency, the technicals behind it, how to actually trade was really, really important because I think otherwise, without a course like that, where somebody takes you step by step through the process as an individual or as speaking for myself, for me to go through that process to learn on my own, I don't think would have happened. There's just too much, there's not enough consistent information out there online to do it yourself efficiently. So for somebody like me who's working, it would be incredibly time consuming to try to put all that fragmented information together. So from that perspective, it was excellent. It was also excellent from the perspective of, what happens and what you see when you kind of get behind the iron curtain, so to speak, right?
The crypto curtain,
The
right?
crypto curtain. So it's a bit of a blur prior to getting, so the course allows you to get behind the crypto curtain. And then once you get behind the crypto curtain, then you really kind of get to see what's going on. And you get to see the power of what's happening in cryptocurrency, right? I mean, if you compare it to the stock market, there are some similarities there, but the movements in crypto are multiples as opposed to fractions, right? And that makes a big difference for somebody who wants to have an impact on their investments. I think another thing that you had highlighted was where in the stock market you don't, insider information is illegal, but there's certainly a sense that somebody's got that insider information, and it's probably not the general public. And so it's very hard to really be effective, I think, in the stock market. Whereas within the cryptocurrency world, I think the philosophy is completely different. It's all about information sharing. It's all about making connections. It's all about not hiding information and making everything actually quite transparent. And so, that from my perspective is super positive because at least you have a chance to leverage that information into hopefully some profits.
Were you surprised at how lucrative crypto is compared to the stock market?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you start looking at those charts, you're seeing cryptocurrencies gaining, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times multiples consistently. You see that in I mean, you don't see it maybe in the Bitcoin in the Bitcoin, but on the altcoins, you'll see that. And so that to me was what was really amazing, looking at the charts and going, if what would have bought here, I would have made X amount, 10 times my investment, easily, I would say easily. And it's actually a bit shocking that potential is there. And that really is what surprised me. I mean, the other thing that surprised me, I would say, is I think prior to this, even though crypto has been around for a long time, prior to this, I still had this, probably dated perspective that crypto was maybe not, still on weak legs, or still something that, might not be real, or is just fleeting maybe, but it's clear that that's not the case. When you start looking at these coins and what they represent and the narratives, there's a history there. There's a legitimate history on some of these coins in terms of what they're doing, and a track record. So you can look back, even a few years on some of the coins, maybe more, and you can see the growth. I mean, especially Bitcoin, of course, I think it goes back, I don't know, you tell me, but quite a ways.
15
15
years.
years, right? And you see what it looked like 15 years ago. And the altcoins are similar, right? That growth is similar. So there is comfort in seeing that there's a history to the coins, and the idea that they're not just going to appear and disappear, instantly. So that was really positive, and that gives you some confidence in investing. So you can put that money in there, and there's a risk, obviously, that some of them may collapse, but I think in general, they may drop, but they're not going to collapse entirely. You have to obviously do your homework, and then there's a tremendous upside potential depending on even if you get the timing wrong. there's still,
That's
there's still a potential for the potential for upside is huge. So you're just not going to see those ups and downs in the stock market like you see in the cryptocurrency, and that's where the real excitement is.
it's it's quite incredible going from, because before you started, how much knowledge did you have in the crypto world?
None. I mean, it was just what you hear on the radio, the occasional friend talking to you about cryptocurrency, but it's really difficult to get your head wrapped around it until you sit down with somebody, and that somebody, like basically what you did, you said, look, this is how it all works, and once you understand that, then the cryptocurrency world is far less intimidating. It's far less pie in the sky type of stuff. It's actually real. So it's something that that I think probably everybody should do, if not only to educate themselves on what's happening in cryptocurrency, but to also open up the potential for to make some money.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of education. People ask me all the time. They're like, should I invest in crypto? And my answer has been consistent. You should invest in educating yourself about crypto, right? You should invest in educating yourself about crypto because education is power. And I tell people, the first step is educating yourself, pulling those curtains open and looking behind and familiarizing yourself with the crypto industry and understanding how it works. And then when you understand how it works as you do, then you can make your decision. People always come to me, well, how much money should I put in? Should it be like 10,000, 50,000, 100,000? It's like those aren't decisions you make before you look at what it is. First step is you need to understand crypto. You need to understand investing in crypto and what that means to you. Second step, after you understand it, then you make your decision. You can go through the process and go, hey, I get it. It's not for me. Or wow, now that I get it, I'm prepared to do more than I was before because, that familiarity will breed confidence, right? Knowledge is power. And I think, that means everything in crypto in terms of, your level of understanding. And for me, I'm always growing and growing. And one of the things I've wanted to do was I've made so many mistakes and it cost me so much time, money, and anguish learning what I learned in crypto. I really wanted to make it a point to pass that on to people like you, Tony, and the entire crews that I work with to make sure that they get, an accelerated learning. Like what I taught in that course generally takes people on their own 1 to 2 to 3 years to figure out, right? And even then, there's still holes. I talk to people every day. There's holes in their games, So for me, it's really about educating yourself. And then once you're educated, and even if you have an idea of what you want to do in crypto, once you're educated, it becomes way more clear, right? Today, I was on a consult with a guy who wants to buy a piece of land. Sorry, wants to buy a house on a piece of land, and it's costly. And he goes, well, that's my goal is to make X amount, which is quite a large number. And I said, okay. I said, really, depending on where you're starting, it's going to be possible. We'll just pick a different strategy. But that is until you understand crypto and investing in crypto, then you can start to understand that there are strategies that are going to be more secure and more safe. And those, more safe, secure strategies in crypto will make you a better return than the most riskiest ones in the stock market. I've never seen
Yeah.
anybody in the stock market come close, but we've got strategies, that, we're going to work with people that are going to make double, triple, 5 times their money. And these are very conservative strategies. And then I've got strategies with people who have to have goals of making, 10 or 20 or even more than that in their investment. And there are strategies to do that. And the beautiful thing about crypto, it's going to be whatever it is you want it to be. You just have to take the time to learn it. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I mean, a conservative strategy in crypto, let's say doubling your money,
It's
is a blowaway strategy. I mean, you'd never even have that kind of discussion. You're talking most investments. If somebody says I'll give you 15% a year, that's a good return, right? 15-20% a year is a great return. You
it's
know,
not even guaranteed, and that's a year.
yeah,
We've
yeah,
got the bull market coming, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's all happening. Everything's unfolding in the next probably 7 to 9 or 10 months. So in
yeah,
under a year, we're going to see our worst plays go up 3 to 5 times.
yeah,
Our worst plays without any effort.
yeah.
It's being knowing what I know now. It's empowering, and I have a lot of excitement and confidence in supporting people onboarding into crypto and giving them the information that they need to be successful, right? And that excites me.
Yeah, and it's exciting being in that space now. And I mean, I find myself checking checking the coins, it's always running in the background on my computer now at work. Well, I'll just see the ticker and I'll look and I'll see how everything is going. And it's really not that hard to follow. It's really not, you can get into the weeds if you'd like. And that's, the more information, the better, obviously, but you don't have to get into the weeds. You don't have to, you can build up, as you've taught us, you can build up a peer group that discusses these things. You share ideas, you share tips, you share information, you educate yourself on what's going on, and I think you can quickly pick up on what's happening and use that information to improve your investing strategy.
Yeah, I always tell people it's not hard, but it's not simple. You know what I mean? Or it's simple but not hard, I should say, right? It's simple in theory, but it's not easy to execute. Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's it. I'm going to restate
Yeah,
it.
that's, I mean, for me, the execution was part of the reluctance, right? But also obviously not fully understanding what was going on. But when you go into an exchange, whether it's a centralized exchange or a decentralized exchange, and you start looking at just look at the website, there's a lot
Yeah,
there's a
there's a
lot
lot.
happening there. It's not, and I think probably most people are used to, the bank website, and then you get onto the crypto websites, and it's just like 100x in terms of activity and things that are going on, and it's a bit daunting. But once then it's actually, it's easy, right? Once it's easy. I had a chemistry teacher tell me that it's only hard because you don't know it.
Right. But once you know, it's easy,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
if you didn't take this course, you had mentioned this earlier, what do you suppose would have happened to you with your crypto investing?
It wouldn't have happened. I mean, with the commitments, the work and the family commitments, coming home and slugging through the thousands of pieces of information, fragmented information on the subject online would have been impossible for me personally, right? So it wouldn't have happened at all. I wouldn't have invested. I would have been too afraid. I wouldn't know how, and I wouldn't have had the patience or the time to really explore it on my own.
Fair enough.
And so
Yeah,
without
sorry.
that, it wouldn't have happened. Without your course, it wouldn't have happened.
Okay, and that's fantastic. So, what is your outlook on crypto personally? So, your personal outlook, do you feel you're going to do well this coming bull, and will it meet your expectations that you had before crypto or before learning, or will it exceed your expectations?
I think my expectations will be exceeded almost inevitably. Any sort of win will exceed my previous expectations. So my previous expectations, as we discussed, were fractions as opposed to whole numbers, multiples, right? So just a 2x multiple on any of my investments would be, for me, amazing, right? And so because the multiples are even bigger than that, it should be, my expectation is that I will make money, because there's going to be stuff that's going up 3, 5, 10, 20, 20x or more. And so I believe the chances of making money with multiples like that are pretty high.
What advice would you give anybody who's thinking about doing this program but isn't sure?
I would tell them that if you want to give yourself a decent chance at finding a good way to invest, another investment point for yourself. So if you're putting money in the bank, or if you're investing in real estate, or if you're putting money into some of these, into the stock market, let's say, there's no reason that you wouldn't look at crypto as another way to make money. I kind of liken it to, when, we're kind of old. I'm kind of old. I don't know about you, but there was never any dating sites before, right? So it used to be, you go out and you meet people, and that's how you build your relationships. And then the dating sites came along, and a lot of people would say, I'm never going on a dating site. But you know what? Probably half the population is on the dating site, and people are meeting every day and having successful relationships, just as you would meeting people in person. So excluding that from if you're looking to build a relationship or to find that someone special, completely discounting the online space hurts you. Now you've lost a lot of opportunity there. You lose nothing by engaging in those in that form, right? Because you may find somebody. And I think it's the same thing with investing. To not explore cryptocurrency is to just take away from a potential revenue stream.
Comparatively, when you're investing in crypto this year, would you consider this to be this year? Do you feel you're going to do better in this industry or in real estate or in an operational based business or in the stock market, like as a vehicle for an investment comparatively, if you look over the next 12 months, is
Yeah,
there, yeah, what's going to
it's
give you the best rate of return?
it's unmatched. I mean, you know, I'm a real estate guy. I develop properties, we buy and sell properties, and the timeline on in that business is in the order of years. And because the timeline is so long, there's a significant amount of risk that's involved in that. And the returns, when they come years down the road, are never going to be 2 or 3 or 4 times your investment. No way. It's impossible. So, you know, that doesn't mean, you know, I'm going to stop, for me personally, that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing. No, but you know, that in terms of return, there's just, from what I can see so far, there's nothing that can match the kind of returns that you're seeing on the crypto exchange.
You know, and I agree personally, Tony. Like I got into this as everybody knows my story. I dipped my toes in with full intention to get back into dental education and dental coaching. But when I dipped my toes into this and I caught, you know, sort of the vibe, I just wanted to learn more and learn more and learn more. And it just snowballed into me exploring it, me learning it, me investing more, me investing more. And now I'm, you know, I'm deep into crypto and I absolutely love it. You know, my inspiration for running these programs are as multi-factored. Primarily, I found it so difficult to learn on my own. And I'm a, you know, like a dog with a bone when I go to learn something. So I put my head down and I spent a lot of time learning. And I'm not talking 2, 3, 4 hours a day. I was going more than full time a day for, you know, longer than most people could imagine to amassing information. And it bothered me that I had to do that and that there was nobody out there I could work with to streamline that learning. Secondarily, is I've had so many negative encounters, getting ripped off and robbed, being scammed, losing tokens, and losing
Yeah.
you know, a fair amount of money online that could have been easily prevented had I had somebody mentoring or coaching me through the process. So those were, you know, two of the big reasons that got me into this. And working with people like you is exciting and fun. And gives me a ton of reward in the fact that, you know, you didn't know anything. You're in a position now where, you know, you could stand to make some really some life-changing money for you and your family. And if not completely life-changing, life improving at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and that's a cool, it's a cool spot to be in.
Yeah. It's impossible to turn away from the potential, right? The potential is so high that you almost have to be involved. You know, the potential is just too great. We're not talking about just small, you know, it's not traditional investments. And again, you know, if you look at the risk, I think is low relative to the reward, right? So you invest, you put some money in, let's use a dollar as an example. You put the dollar in, you lose it, the dollar's gone, right? That's the downside. The upside is 5 times, 10 times, 20 times that dollar. It just, you know, that risk reward ratio is especially now. I mean, if we were talking a few months ago when everything was peaking, you know, maybe that we wouldn't be having this discussion, but understanding crypto now, we know that it's cyclical. We know when it's going to be down and we know when it's going to come back up.
Almost like cheating.
Yeah.
It's almost like cheating. The predictability
Yeah.
factor is almost like cheating.
Yeah.
It's, and people are too zoomed in and they miss that. It's
Yeah.
predictable. It's cyclical. Where are
Yeah.
we at in the cycle? Once we understand where we're at in the
Yeah.
cycle and that where we want these pullbacks because they give us great entries, that this is where all the X's are going to come in. And honestly, if we talk about risk mitigation, and I know you talk about things going to zero, however, Tony, I do want to interject. You know, if we mitigate risk, if we keep our eyes on the ball, if we stay with the game plan, so if things are dumping more than 20%, and we're monitoring the projects and we realize the projects go south, we can easily abandon the products before they go zero. Those are the 1% in our world.
Mm.
People who are investing blindly, I get it. It's terrifying. You're just blindly picking stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it did good last bull. Maybe it'll do good this bull. Well, you're missing so much information about that project or that coin or that token. You're investing blindly, right? And then from there, if you're just looking at all the hype, you could be getting into hyped up projects that have no hop or no foundation behind them. So, you know, we do teach a little bit about deciphering through that, but it's a terrifying. I say it's terrifying on your own. Crypto is
Mm.
terrifying on your own. And I mean, Tony, you like you said earlier, you wouldn't be doing it if you were by yourself.
Yeah. No, 100%.
100%. Well, listen, man, I appreciate your time this evening. Is there anything else you want to finish with before we wrap this up?
No, I just wanted to thank you for the great course. Thanks for helping me through the crypto and continuing to help me through the crypto journey. and hopefully we'll make a ton of money.
Well, that's the plan. And yeah, absolutely. That's the plan. We'll be checking in as it goes. And I am so excited for both of all of our futures, actually, for everybody's listening to this, anybody who's in crypto and is doing it well or doing it properly, we're all going to be laughing in the not too distant future.